Having a jungler that's being this diverse in the God Pool selection and being able to flex to solo lane picks allows Divios a lot of freedom for whatever he wants, and difficult to really pinpoint what Splyce wants to do in their picks and bans.
I never thought of releasing Divios into his like little crafting area of stupidness that he likes to bring out. Maybe it's cousin mode this game. Probably not. We'll find out. Let's get into picks and bans. This one, well, for Space Station, it's for all the marbles. For Splyce, it's the first step in the right direction to trying to get to LAN. Space Station need this win to go to LAN and put the rest of North America to bed.
United already qualified, so we're looking for that second team to match them in the Summer Masters LAN.
Naja banned out again, so more focus towards Cyno. What was the biggest problem Space Station had there? Was it lack of mobility, as you were saying?
That was really the biggest deal. I mean, Sylvanus always gets focused, and without a Sylvanus, who's going to protect the Artemis? She falls. Without the Artemis, where's the DPS coming through? Like, it was a trickle-down effect.
Well, this time around, Chernobog will be banned by Space Station Gaming. They first picked Artemis, I believe, last time round. Was it not?
Space Station Gaming got the Athena, and then Splyce actually didn't even pick up the Chernobog. They wanted the Artemis on purpose.
Yeah.
But now, without Chernobog, they don't really have to worry about CycloneSpin getting out of the action or actually going back into it.
Artemis will be the first pick for Space Station Gaming, then Splyce get themselves an open table to an extent and will elect for the Janus. Sylvanus available too. We've seen a lot of Sylvanus in this competition so far between these two teams. Wouldn't be a surprise to see it, but instead, one that does slip through the net is Hercules.
Surprise, because it was Space Station that banned away the Hercules in the first round, games 1 and 2, but they don't want to deal with the Chernobog, and they don't want to pick it for themselves. So Divios should be able to flex a little bit and start excavating some members.
Hold up though, because Cyno's played that in the jungle again, and he's been on Warriors today too. So don't take it just yet. Sylvanus though for JeffHindla, and that'll be joined by the Mercury in the jungle. So Space Station trying to get their other lanes. They're not really worried about Baskin or Aquarius here. They're just trying to get the other positions filled first.
And with the pressure that andinster will apply, it should give a lot of dual lane pressure. Artemis, Sylvanus combined is already strong in terms of push, in terms of fighting potential. You add a level 5 Mercury to the mix, and I think that Space Station Gaming should go for some purple buff invades.
This comp from Splyce, though, with Bellona and Hercules, do you reckon that's up for debate who goes in the jungle here based off what the lane matchup is?
I think it's more dependent on what the mid is going to be for Baskin.
Right, okay.
If he's going to go solo again, then you're probably going to go for the Bellona, try to scourge him out, make sure that he's not going to get those basic attacks off. And with the Janus for Splyce, it doesn't really matter, I guess, which one it goes for. They're both really good at chasing.
So it's nothing to do with the solo lane and what your matchup is in the solo lane at all? No?
I mean, maybe if you're going to go against a Guan or something that relies on channeling, you'll want the Hercules driving strike instead.
Okay, well, let's find out what SSG do in their solo lane then, because they will be having that questions in their head. They're not going to be able to play the Changa or the Aphrodite, though. Splyce will take those away again. Odin has been banned consistently, but won't be banned this game, even though Odin's pretty good against some of Space Station Gaming's comp, but Splyce already have 2 warriors.
That's true. If they add a third one to the mix, then they need another a solo lane. No.
Wow. Okay, there could be support. With support for Kumbhakarna for Aror, no real surprise to see that one being locked in. Pretty good against Mercury and Artemis too, Mercury and Artemis, because of the fact that Yawn reduces attack speed.
That's true. If you break the mighty Yawn, you're going to reduce the attack speed. So yeah, I called the Guan. So that's going to be a double sustain comp. This is a really late game team fighting centric idea that Space Station Gaming are trying to implement. They need to survive the early game pressure. Cyno can definitely look to camp the Guan and prevent that from even coming off the ground.
I am looking towards andinster on the Mercury though. The amount of times just lately I've seen Mercury jungles against Januses, and the Janus getting those beads forced early, and the pressure is too much for the Janus to handle seems to be something that the pros have worked out as time's gone on, that Janus is susceptible to those early ganks from Merc.
Yeah, without having a lot of cooldown reduction is when you want to exploit the Janus. Same idea where you want to gank a solo laner before they get their protections.
Definitely have to see how Andy plays that against TheBest. Then the final pick will be the Medusa, needing the Hunter then. So Combat and Medusa up against Artemis and Sylvanus in the dual lane. You were mentioning probably Hercules solo then if it's against the Guan Yu, because you want that CC?
It should be, but Bellona is really good about bullying out the Guan Yu anyway. Right. I wouldn't be surprised either way, but knowing Divios, he's going to want the Hercules.
Who do you think's going to win this? Is Space Station going to LAN off this game totally, or is Splyce keeping themselves in it?
I like both of their comps, but I think that Space Station Gaming have the better jungler. Mercury late game way better than either Hercules or Bellona.
Okay, let's get to it. The final game. Can Space Station close it out? The casters standing by.
Yeah, this one is going to be tough. I like what Toli said there at the last moment, saying that Mercury is just the late game jungler of choice right now. But Bellona worked last time. Maybe she'll do it again.
Mercury's nasty, and you have to keep in mind they're still picking that Artemis Mercury straight into the disarms. And we saw last time how well that panned out when Divios and Cyno were actually on the same page, being that heavy front line, but also being able to harass the back line. Not very often that you get to see warriors do both positions.
Yeah, it's very true. The disarm, I think, is something that players can play against. I'm not really upset that we see Spacestation Gaming playing into the disarm here. They've just got to work around it a little bit better in game. Who's going to win this game? You know what? Game number 1, I think, was very clear, SSG. And then after game 2, I don't really know where we're going here.
It's hard to call it just judging by the drafts alone, because when it comes to Splyce, I think that team execution is something that they were definitely able to build on throughout the duration of this summer split. And now that we're here in the final week, we know that they're all back at home for this set. So the question is, how much of that team synergy is still taking place outside of the gaming house?
It's a good question. Let's answer it. Game 3. On the way, Splyce grouped up. There's some communication. Andy by himself just walks away. I would have loved to see Splyce kind of chase him and make him get the dash, but not going to be the case. All they wanted to do was nothing. Usually we see the group up because they want a ward.
They were hoping that Andy might be a little bit closer towards those harpies, and then you've got some pocket pick potential there, but for right now, Space Station just choosing to play it safe. Baskin and andinster position so evenly around that speed buff top end, and just making sure that they aren't going to get invaded. Thoth, while he might not necessarily have the greatest level 1 clear, Best kind of in the same boat with that Janus on the unstable vortex.
Yeah, I mean, Janus is... the clear is kind of less important to me than these junglers. Again, andinster, I would definitely rather have the late game Mercury on my squad later. Even with the disarms, but we'll see how this one works out.
I think it's going to be the Thoth.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to Best and Baskin, and whichever mid laner gets the better ultimate in the long run.
I see that. I could definitely see that one. I think both of these characters can be very, very lopsided. So, game number 1 is important to say, and game number 2, we were closer to like 25%.
It was like 24 and 76. Still pretty steep, so that's a heavy jump up in the graphs.
10% more people decided that this could be going to Splyce. We'll see if that's the case. I mean, game 2 was very exciting, and what I liked the most about game 2 was the fact that it wasn't Space Station making mistakes. It was Splyce playing good Smite. Honestly, that's really what it was. I guess you could argue that andinster just wasn't as effective as he could have been. Right there, having to use his beads. Nice portal coming in for the best.
Surprised that Andy would drop the purification beads then. Pretty sure that unstable vortex wouldn't have been up in time, but that might not have been telegraphed so clearly to Andy. We don't know whether Baskin was actually communicating. Unstable vortex is down right now, man. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, Cyno getting aggressive. Andy not going to have the beads for this one. Portal him and some of the damage on top of it. Andinster going to tick that up thanks to the potions. He's gone now, though. Not going to have any more sustain. Neither will Cyno. Looks for the disarm against Baskin. Dashes backwards. Baskin won't catch the portal.
But the wave is still going to get cleared. Cyno looking to invade andinster's back harpies. They're not going to have any assistance. They're just going to have to try and steal these ones away. Do believe they were successful. Andy and Baskin both just ticking in at that level 3, but Baskin having used the invade and punish for the confirm means that Cyno could get a little bit of poke against them right now.
Cyno here trying to replay what he did in game number 2 on the jungle Bellona, which is a pick that needs to get ahead. I've spoken about it before. I spoke about it at length in game number 1, but it's kind of a character that just, if she's BaRRaCCuDDa in trouble. I'll hold my tongue real quick. Artemis able to wiggle on out of there. Has some support with the potions. Still very low. Cyno's got to get a lead. Without a lead, he's just kind of average. Got to get a lead, so playing for it. Jeff rooted out.
Doesn't even necessarily have to be a first blood type of lead, just some sort of map pressure that he can profit off of as the game continues. That's going to be the main distinguishing factor, I think, between these two junglers. Because Andy can spend the first 20 minutes of this game not even existing as a player on this map. He can just run around farming until the end of time and still be more useful, I think, in some of those late gaming engagements as a comparison to the Bellona. So I'm with you all the way here. Cyno needs to make an impact, and he's got to do it early.
That's why we've been seeing him try for all these plays, right? We saw him just super aggressive here in the middle lane, Best trying to force out things against the jungler, and then even walking in their own jungle.
The big thing for me is, say Splyce continued to dump everything onto BaRRaCCuDDa. Like, maybe their plan was just to eliminate BaRRa so he can no longer participate in the engagements.
Sure.
It worked out great in game 2, but how do you control a Thoth even half as well when the only member to really keep up with him is going to be Best? Because invade and punish, as long as you have the hieroglyphic wall up, going to take you pretty far. And speaking of taking pretty far, Sonic Boom all the way down the lane.
Oh, just too short though. Special delivery still finds Aror, and that'll be the first blood. BaRRaCCuDDa, last hit, andinster with the assist.
Had to happen eventually. Sonic Boom, never know which way it's going to go. To start things off pretty hot, though, in the duo lane. I love that behind the tower play, but do need to be careful because that length can be deceiving. It looked like that Sonic Boom was going to be able to connect at the very tail end of it for Aror, and instead comes up short.
First blood going to Spacestation. Nice look there. And andinster.
Made you look. No one has any idea what's happening right now, but don't worry, I'm here for Tom. Aquarius going up into that mounted Guan Yu pony, just looking to take on Cyno, Divios, and TheBest, but through space and time means that this blue buff is most likely going to end up falling into Splyce's possession, and sure enough, Aquarius not really willing to throw his life away for that one, kind of just accepts that he's going to be at a bit of a mana deficiency from the start.
Yeah, and that's a really big play there for Splyce. And Best gets his beads chased out.
Oh, that would have been too good. And
that was all, and I need to stress, Best was looking the other way. That was all feel, baby. That was all feel for Jeremy.
Not a total loss, though, if you're Space Station. They miss out on the blue buff and the kill for Best, but they do get his beads, the red buff, and most likely the purple. Because if Aror tries to contest this, he doesn't have that Kumbhakarna passive for a little bit longer. He could be in a lot of danger here should he venture into the jungle, and sure enough, he's going to make sure to stay clear of Space Station's warpath.
Look at the pathing that Bellona's taking. Thoth is actually going to see her. But Cyno pathing behind the Tier 1 tower in an effort to stay clandestine, but this time around
he
kind of just
ward.
walks into Baskin.
That's what he was doing. He just wanted to drop the deep ward for Best in mid, because with Sonic Boom, you can't tell from that far away if Andy's actually there unless there's hard proof in the lane. Kind of waiting now for Splyce to, whether it's Divios, Cyno, Aror, it doesn't even matter who does it. Drop the wards on left and or on duo and solo lanes also.
I mean, the trouble is when you put a ward under the enemy tower, it's seen, right?
You can place it right outside of that tower line, and if they place it right outside, they're still going to pick up on whether or not andinster is trying to ult from behind the T1.
That's very true. That's very true. Got to be careful. Here comes Andy on the ward, and look at the response from Splyce. The two players dip in right into the jungle. Can't be ulted by the Mercury. Man, that was beautiful. Excellent.
That presence, though, keeps Cyno confined to the T1, meaning he won't make it in time to steal away the blue buff. So Aquarius finally gets to reestablish control of his own jungle, and Andy, he's still looking for this.
Yeah, he's going to show up on the ward. Best got the ultimate ready. They have to realize that's warded, right?
In advance. When it's that close, you know.
You know that's warded now.
But Andy still gets the red buff for free, and it's a free trip up the mid lane.
Yep, that's the win.
It doesn't always have to connect. Sometimes Sonic Boom is use to close the distance there. That's what I like to say when I miss.
Sure.
Just closing the distance.
It was a zoning ult, right? Zoning ult.
I'm acting as a ward for my team.
Hey man, what do I always say? Satellite ult when I go up in the Thor and just come right down. Oops, I'm a satellite. I'm getting global vision, guys. They're not coming, okay? It's yeah. Divios and Aquarius battling it out. Divios on his signature Hercules. What a scary choice for this guy, man.
Yeah, who's going to die first? Neither of you.
Yeah.
Next.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to kill Aqua. It's going to be Divios.
No, I just don't think that these two can solo each other with those gods. Unless Aquarius gets pulled into Divios' tower and stays there for...
What if Divios builds Transcendence? And Shifter's Shield? And Deathbringer?
It wouldn't be the craziest thing we've ever seen Divios do. I'll leave it at that.
Gem of Isolation, solo Janus. It won him the kickoff land. It won him the kickoff land. You know what?
If it works, don't fix it. Where's the revival of the OG Divios builds, man?
Well, Andy's going to look to put him down. He gets flipped and he gets kicked. Beads are good. Jungle Cyno. The rock over the wall won't be good enough. Andinster now looking for a reinitiation. Thinking twice, we'll head back to base. Aquarius gets his ultimate chased out as well. Big D on the tear.
Aquarius just getting a little bit battered there. Same for Andy. Just could not afford to stick around. Trying to apply pressure in solo lane worked extremely well for Spacestation in game 1, but Splyce just seems so prepared to counteract it ever since. They recognized the problem and immediately learned to adapt towards it.
Oh, Cyno thought he had the element of surprise. But it's Andy that has it. That says up down is here. The bludgeon, the hammer, but it's Aquarius from behind with the dash. Oh, Cyno. That was a gutsy play. And I can't say I hate it if it was one-on-one. When it's a 4-on-1, Cyno, I think you made the wrong choice there.
Bit of a butt cleanser on that one.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I mean, you live with less than 10 HP, because that had to have been less than 10 HP. I'm convinced he was somewhere around 5 to 7.
Yeah.
And it hurts if you're Cyno also. Because if Cyno manages to find a return kill and it's an even trade out, that's not too much of a total loss. But because Andy was able to survive, now he's able to catch up in farm. Now Spacestation are able to pressure out this Gold Fury since through space and time is down. But they're going to choose to drop it because Baskin doesn't have the final judgment.
Listen, this is a team adapting and understanding and watching how their set has gone. Spacestation Gaming has had more than one objective stolen from them this match. So by leaving that one, they're remembering game 1, they're remembering game 2, and they're being careful not to fall victim to the same mistakes that they made earlier.
And he had 8 HP.
Eesh. What a close one. Absolutely close one. Andy burning the dash to really get here in time, but blue buff already knocked down. Divios will be able to pick that one up. All things tied here. 11.5 in. Space Station Gaming do have 2 kills, but they're just for decoration. Gold and experience all even.
One thing's for sure, the pacing throughout this set has slowed down per match. We've seen the highlight peaks of aggression, and then they fizzle off into nothingness for another 5 to 6 minutes or so, and now this is Space Station trying to bring back that aggressiveness to life, and Splyce, one more time, just gonna quickly shut it down.
Space Station are going to repeatedly try this and repeatedly look for this because they have a composition that can actually do this even with the enemy here. Artemis, Mercury are able to tear the Gold Fury apart, and then Baskin's going to look to just take care of it, or everybody's going to look at Aror, and he's going to die. JeffHindla gets bounced off. Baskin gets killed, though. Andy takes out Aror, so it's a 1-for-1 so far. But Splyce get their first kill of the contest, and they're not done just yet. Cyno over the wall looking for the stun. There's the dash forward. Cyno with the last hit, and guess what's open?
Aquarius made sure to save the red buff, though, from Cyno and Divios' invade. They might have lost Jeff and Baskin because all eyes were on Aror. It was a beautiful CC chain onto the Kumbhakarna, but he's a Kumbhakarna. You have to worry about that passive. Aquarius is going to come charging in now, trying to stop Splyce from stealing this Gold Fury right up from underneath Space Station's nose.
Got it. The mage is there. BaRRaCCuDDa takes care of Cyno, but Gold Fury already goes down. The knockback, the pinball, not going to be enough, and the best falls down. Divios gets CUDDa. CycloneSpin on a thread. Aquarius able to take down that one. 3 deaths for the Gold Fury, and 9 times... Andy, if they kill Andy...
He's gone. He missed. Oh! No.
If they kill Andy. So Taco, this is a 3, so this is a 4, don't forget, Aror died. This is a 4 for 3. Baskin died as well. It's a 4 for 3 and the Gold Fury.
These graphs look a little bit like the heart monitors of fans from both teams throughout this set, probably, because it has been a bit of a roller coaster. If you've been watching all the way through, Game 1, very clearly, Space Station gaming. Game 2, Splyce come back with a vengeance, completely overthrow Space Station. You wouldn't even believe Game 1 even happened in the first place. And now, Game 3, it's such a back and forth evenness. It seems like they've both kind of figured each other out, like 80% of the way. But the 20% that's still missing is just where the trade-offs are coming into place. And normally, that Gold Fury would have been beneficial for Splyce. But since they lost 3 members in the process, that kind of removes all benefits that they would have originally had.
What I'm kind of liking here out of Splyce is that decision to go for the Gold Fury, because if they leave it, they know that Space Station are going to get it. Every time that's up, Artemis and Mercury and Thoth. I mean, this is, you spend 1.5 to 2 seconds doing the Gold Fury, and then Thoth finishes it off with an ultimate. So Splyce understand that they have to go for these 50-50s because Space Station are going to, they have the upper hand anyway. So they've got to be careful.
Andy, playing around with that sonic boom. It's a relatively loud sound cue also.
It's very loud.
Make sure that you guys keep that in mind too, because you can typically hear the Mercury charging that sonic boom from inside of the jungle, which is why I think so many members tend to watch out for that. And
oh, blink forward from Divios. Just getting Andy with the driving strike. I love Blink Hercules. I don't love Blink Osiris. So I'm very happy to see the Hercules here. Blink Hercules, though, blinking behind somebody with the 180 driving strike is, I mean, for some reason we associate tier with Blink so much. And Hercules, I mean, he's usually a little bit more defensive than offensive, but Blink Hercules is very, very disgusting, and Divios already making good use of it.
I like the Blink Hercules infinitely more than a Blink Osiris.
Yeah, I like chocolate ice cream infinitely more than I like
black licorice ice cream.
Yeah, there you go.
There's somebody out there who's bound to love that flavor, by the way.
And there's somebody out there that's bound to play Blink Osiris.
Well, we already found that one.
Yeah.
It's Divios.
It's Divios.
In case you were wondering.
Next time you come to land, Divios, I'm getting you a bunch of black licorice flavored ice cream.
I actually, no, when I was like visiting the UK, I remember I had this Finnish friend who showed me some Finnish candy, and he was like, this is a special treat where I'm from. And it was like salty black licorice. I ate it and I regretted it instantly because that flavor just, it sticks. I think it's one of those things you have to like grow up with to truly view it as like candy.
Oh man.
But I also firmly believe that some Finnish people just don't have, you know, they don't know what candy is.
I mean, in North America, we definitely go a little bit more ham on the sweets, sugar specifically. So there's a little bit of that, I guess. A little bit of a just, you're used to it being a little bit sweeter here. But I think the best is playing Janus. I did it to myself. That's Aggro's on vacation, so I have to troll myself. This is how we do it.
Because normally he does it for you.
Yeah. I'm just saying some random conversation. I mean, Pyromancer started up here. And it's down to about 60%.
Splyce are just toying, though, with the pot. They want to see who comes in next. Cyclone, realizing he's not alone here. This could be the commitment that Splyce were waiting for, knowing that 2 members from Space Station are on the opposite side of the map. Baskin's already been forced out, but they dropped it because now everybody's focusing onto Aquarius.
Aquarius uses the ultimate to get on out of there. And Splyce one more time looking at the Pyromancer. There's the push from Aror, who gets pulled and knocked under the tower. That's just good. Baskin about half HP.
What were those JeffHindla reflexes?
Yeah.
Blink into a Sylvanus pull, and it's not over just yet. Sonic Boom gonna make sure to meet up with Divios over there in the mid lane. Aror trying to peel where he can. And the final judgment just gonna miss too short without the hieroglyphic wall.
Just not able to find it. Needed that wall there in order to get the extra range. Gold Fury up one more time. Immediately, SSG head over there. Again, they just have a great composition to take care of these objectives.
That's one of those moments where you give it the Pyromancer, but you try to find the kill after the fact. They looked for Aror, they looked for Divios, and they got nada out of it. And now, Splyce can very likely defend this Gold Fury should Space Station start to pull it, but they got to be careful because their window of opportunity is very low here.
TheBest has the ultimate. Gotta go now, gotta go now, gotta go now. There's the ultimate. Nice leash coming out from SSG. Wonderful play. Cyno in trouble, finds a portal of his own. Baskin not gonna use the ultimate here. I like that choice, Taco. He's holding on for the inevitable Gold Fury turnaround. Divios with the biggest heal of the last 19 minutes gonna be taken down now that that's on cooldown. TheBest lining himself up, half HP. And TheBest will walk away. BaRRaCCuDDa going to finish off the Gold Fury easily. Great job from Space Station. Great job from Space Station Gaming. That is how you take care of an objective.
Rage and Poison Star. Those two items combined on a Mercury and an Artemis are Splyce's worst nightmare right now. Cyno, bit of a bully in game 2. Has not had that same sort of impact on the Bellona here.
Is Rage worth it on the Mercury?
Yes.
Usually we just see Deathbringer,
This is the build.
Deathbringer.
I am convinced that this is the way to go for a Mercury main. I love this personally. I think that there's very few faults with this kind of build also, unless there are some exclusionary cases, and of course those involving heavy frontline potential, but I think because of the fact that Cyno and Divios aren't on heavy interruption gods, they're more so gods that want to dive and harass your backline. Their carries feel a little bit more exposed this game than they did in the last, and even still, made you look, and Rage is just so beneficial.
Yeah, just going for it and getting the crit off of that one for sure. And it's to wrap it up, Aror, and wow, that's the damage. Aror able to wiggle out of there. The ultimate from Baskin, not going to find a target. But Cyno likely to fall down. The ultimate from the Mercury going to be good enough. Hindla takes care of Divios, and is quickly becoming Space Station Gaming's game.
It's just an immediate turnaround from how this match was starting out here between these two teams. Splyce looked like they were on the same ground level as Space Station for a while now, and suddenly 17 minutes rolls around and we just see this immediate turn-up factor from Space Station.
I mean, just, yeah, I like that. Immediately is pretty much what happened. CycloneSpin uses the beads and uses the ultimate, and he able to Aegis it out. And
He's
the
gonna
team
full
now
heal.
looking for mid lane power.
He full heals everything for free. Fire Giant, Sylvanus, Guan Yu. This is a composition that Space Station have not kept secret for any time at all. I mean, this has actually been one of the more prevalent combinations, I believe, is the Guan Yu Sylvanus for the past 3 weeks now.
Yeah, no secrets here whatsoever. The Guan Yu, the Mercury, the Artemis. I mean, this is Space Station. You know what this is? This is Space Station Gaming going, all right, guys, we're losing to Splyce. We lost last week. What's happening? And they go, what are we good at playing? All right, let's just play it. And they're winning now. And I don't think that's a surprise.
BaRRa feels like he's really good at absorbing abilities.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of those to eat. Not so much this game as it was the other two, but Artemis definitely feeling some of the repercussions of not being as mobile as the rest of her squad. And as long as Space Station is there to back BaRRa up, he'll be able to put in work.
That's really all he's looking for is the ability to go to work, clock in, do his job, clock out. Because when you have Andy and Baskin doing your dirty work, really not much BaRRA needs to do. 2-1-5 in this game, sure, I'll take it. But just keep doing you, Baskin and Andy.
I was going to say how many kills does Baskin have, but doesn't match up yet.
Cyno and Andy kind of dealing with it. Cyno getting wrapped up by the ultimate from andinster. There's the hammer!
I think he forgot the dash. Special delivery might not have been up in time there for andinster, and so just a little unlucky.
Yeah.
I think he thought he had a little bit more turnaround potential than what was actually available.
I think so too there.
But
SSG looking for the pyro.
Cyno doesn't have the thorns now, so that's a positive if you're BaRRaCCuDDa.
That's just Andy doing his job, getting BaRRA in the best.
He was giving
possible.
vision on Cyno.
Yeah. And
being a real team player.
Taking the thorns. Now BaRRaCCuDDa can fight thornsless into
and the shell.
That's big.
2-for-1 benefit. That's huge here. Andy didn't even use his actives. He had that one planned out all along.
Just knew it.
They were also on cooldown at the time, but we're not going to talk about that.
Nope. Just knew it.
That's what a real calculation looks like from a 200 IQ gamer.
You ready for this calculation? 9,000 gold in the lead. Look at that.
10,000.
No.
Experience in the lead.
Oh, there you go. You calculated that, did you?
I have a feeling calculated supposed to stand for something else here, but if it is, I missed it. Straight over my head.
Oh no, I'm just saying, you did it.
I think we're all kind of just waiting for Spacestation to do it. Is
Sure.
the big thing here.
Well, I mean, we're waiting for any real team to go for it. This is kind of lull the action as Spacestation have garnered their 10,000 gold lead.
420 crit.
Oh. Andy just blazing through these objectives and will totally make use of his abilities.
Now, with a couple of different lanes pushed in their favor, Spacestation finally looking to siege and actually cancel that because Fire Giant's worn off. They had to wait for andinster to respawn. This could be the saving grace that Splyce were looking for. I mean, they've been struggling these past couple of engagements to find even footing there with Spacestation. So this little lull in a match, it can work two ways. It's either beneficial towards the team, or it can also tend to work against them because you're kind of, as far as the positives are concerned, you have time to think and rationalize your team's decisions, get your comms in order, kind of just take a breather and relax for a second to get your head steady. But it can also just be that whole drawn out wait period of just paranoia because you've got to worry about this Mercury. You never really know where andinster is going to be next. Even Aquarius has a lot of rundown potential, and I think we all know the fears that are to be had with the Thoth in his range.
Mm-hmm.
So Splyce kind of just left to freeze and wait at the mercy of Spacestation's aggression.
Fire Giant pulled here. It's going to be Spacestation in the driver's seat. Splyce is local, and their presence will force Spacestation off of the objective. There's Aurora blinking on the back line, and there was Aurora blinking on the back line. Down he goes.
Oh
Down
my.
Cyno goes. There's a big ultimate from TheBest, but two players dead before the fight even begins, folks. Splyce on the retreat. TheBest gets stunned out, doing some mild damage, and Andy pre-beads. With the pull on to Divios, gets it, gets the kill. Baskin falls down, gets back up, takes care of Divios. 3 players down. Spacestation Gaming turn away from the Fire Giant and look for the Phoenix.
The speed buff. Andy cannot go to the Phoenix without the speed buff first, but they've got a couple of creeps coming in soon enough. Splyce with only Best and Cyclone left to defend. They just don't have any legs left to stand on. That mid-Phoenix not going to be alive for much longer either. In fact, Spacestation have already claimed it, and now, with Divios and Cyno still due to respawn, Spacestation are free to one more time pressure the Fire Giant and just strong arm it away from Splyce.
Right now, Splyce are here in local, 50% already on the big guy, and that's sweet! Andy and BaRRaCCuDDa just team up and take care of business.
Oh.
Aror gets killed before he walks through a portal. That's tough. And andinster doing what the character was made for. 4, 2, and 7 in the jungle. Katana, crit. Before we get into the final push, Taco, real quick, why don't we see Talaria boots on Mark Ever?
You don't need Talaria anymore as a jungler. I think you're probably going to get more benefit. Actually, hold that thought now, because Divios are just getting exploded upon by andinster. And sure enough, JeffHindla, those dots are going to steal it away, but Andy makes sure to get the follow-up kill into Cyno.
Yeah, this is that late game Mercury we were warning y'all about. Almost 30 minutes on the clock. Spacestation Gaming get 2. Aurora's going to respawn. But the Titan is in their sights, 90%. Dashing forward is Andy. Not going to find it. Kill on the best. Not going to find that one either. Titan, 40%. Splyce trying to play defense here, but that is going to be the game. And Spacestation Gaming take it in 3.
It was an impressive run from Splyce during the summer split. Very clear improvement since the beginning for these guys. In the spring split, it's kind of just like, Splyce are another team.
Yeah.
But now, Splyce are definitely actual contenders for the fall split. Weren't able to pull it off here in summer, but definitely nothing to be ashamed of in that last set performance.
Yeah, none whatsoever. Certainly, I think it proved to a lot of people at home that this team is going to be able to play with the best of them in the fall split. Very exciting to see them kind of take one from Spacestation.
I also believe that this is the exact case scenario that we actually talked about in this past week's showing of Esports Weekly, where we were all pretty on the same page that it would end up being a 2-1 Spacestation Splyce.
Let us know who you think was the MVP in Mixer. It's andinster.
It's andinster. It's got to be Andy. He might have been soloed by Cyno, so Cyno can always say that. I soloed the MVP star of Game 3, but Andy definitely played his part.
Yeah, and very fitting moment for Andy, who has been not only hot and cold, but also the center of criticism for a lot of people looking at this team. So very nice for him to have a fantastic game here on this Monday. Let me say it one more time. Down.
Thanks a lot, casters, and congratulations to Spacestation Gaming have qualified based off that performance there today. Let's go back through that game, though, Toli. What was the real standout moments for you from that game?
So there were 3 key moments that I noticed. Most of it contains missteps coming from Splyce. The first one was when Divios was really trying to force something around the Gold Fury, 19-minute mark. He pulls JeffHindla around that little circular pillar behind Gold Fury, and then he wraps around it, driving strike JeffHindla even further into Space Station's team. No one was close enough to help Divios.
Right.
Cyno was already bullied out before that even happened. So Divios goes in 1v5 with 3 of his teammates way too far behind him. He dies, and with Cyno bullied out, Gold Fury goes to Space Station Gaming. Second keynote that I noticed was around the Fire Giant fight. Around 20.5-minute mark, Space Station Gaming got a 2-0. They get the Fire Giant, and then the rest of it was just cleaning up the towers, cleaning up the Phoenixes, and winning the game off of having 10,000 of a goal lead.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the player stats there, and the player damage is the most interesting thing for me, first of all. Only one player on Splyce that got above 10k damage in that game. Just shows you how unfortunate it was for them in that one. andinster will be your MVP, and I had a feeling this Mercury could be quite an important factor in this one, consistently causing pressure everywhere. And top of the charts is andinster, and as the casters were saying, Toli, it's a good time for him to do it because he's been under criticism as of late.
Despite missing this very first Sonic Boom, he was still in position to find the special delivery onto Aror, getting him a little bit closer to BaRRaCCuDDa for the first blood. And ever since then, BaRRaCCuDDa had a wonderful performance, being 4-1-9. Different story this game than last game for BaRRaCCuDDa, where he was sitting at about 0-6-4. It was just completely different because he didn't have to deal with CycloneSpin's Chernobog this time around. He had more pressure from andinster's Mercury than the last game.
Well, Monday's coming to a close for the SPL, but let's have a look at the rest of the week that we've got to look forward to. Tomorrow's all about Europe, a very important day. We do have an additional game from North America, though, and you'll see in a game on Thursday of North America, too, because we're going to be having no broadcast on Wednesday. E-Unite versus Trifecta, which can make a difference between, I guess, between E-Unite and Space Station, who goes where in terms of the land bracket there. But let's go to the standings and show you exactly how things fall after today. United Space Station have qualified. They are top of North America and cannot be caught by anybody else. Europe, though, Tolly, still up for debate, even though Dignitas found that win today.
I think Energy are very close to potentially clinching it out. They still have 2 more sets to go through, so that three-way race between Energy, Rival, Dignitas is going to be really close. And I think Mouse and Obey are still not mathematically out of the equation.
Yeah, and I think that's the next thing for us to really look at then, after looking at the standings, is a little look at how the progression of what's supposed to happen this time round. Here's the clinch scenarios. As you can see, North America has been decided already. Space Station finding that win against Splyce was good enough to tie things up there. Europe, though, everyone up for contention. There's a lot of teams that can find a win if things go their way.
All Energy has to do is win a match, so easy.
Well, look at Rival, too. I mean, they've got to win 1 game against Obey.
That's true. Just a single game, not even the whole entire set. That's how good their current record and plus-minus is.
So at the moment, still up for debate in Europe. North America has their 2 qualifiers. It's the same 2 that made Spring. Maybe in a different order, maybe not. We'll find out as this goes on. And all these players, obviously, Summer LAN is important for them, but the most important one they'll all be preparing for is the World Championships. They're every year. This time it's a little bit earlier, and you guys can get tickets at home now. hi-rez.expo.com to buy them. November 16th to 18th. Totally, some of the best teams in the world will be there.
It's going to be very impressive because we're going to have a very long event to make sure we weed out the lesser competition. And on top of this, also, it's a little bit earlier than your traditional start to HRX, so make sure you mark those dates, November 16th through the 18th.
Yeah, those tickets, make sure you get them now before they run out, and make sure you get your hotel rooms all sorted for it so you can hang out with us. Last but not least, thing to mention to you, the gem sale is still going on. You guys love freebies. Well, we give you discounts as well, and this is a big one, 35% off gem packs for a limited time. So make sure you get them sooner rather than later.
Loki is so mad that he got voted off that he's just slashing the prices, apparently.
Oh, God, I hate that line. Loki's angry.
He's mad.
Slashing the prices. Yeah. Well, July 4th, remember, Loki's not available to be played because you guys at home voted for him. So hopefully you enjoy your independence. And you're independent anyway, even if you're not from there and you play around the world, because most countries are. Anyway, Tully, final thoughts on today. Did it go as expected?
I think so, honestly. Splyce showing up in one of the games of the sets, showing a lot of signs of improvement since the spring split. I'm looking forward to see how they evolve heading into fall.
Well, tomorrow, Europe is a bit closer to being decided, or may be decided. We'll find out all tomorrow. Tuesday. I was going to say all tomorrow on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your evening from everyone here at hi-rez Studios. Best of luck to England tomorrow because we don't need it. We're going to stomp Colombia. Oh my God, did I just do that on air? Because now that's going to get memed if we lose.
You're going to get tweeted so hard.
I'm an idiot. See you all later. Goodbye.